Hello there, welcome everybody. It's Diorama Don here, and the subject this time is of a pontoon bridge, something that was used excessively, especially in World War II, when the bridges were put out of action. So they very quickly erected these pontoon bridges to take the vehicles and what have you across rivers, especially the Rhine in 1945. So this is what this is supposed to depict, but the point of the video is how I made the pontoons. So let's get into the video and I'll show you how I made them. So some time ago I made the bridge on the River Kwai, which is only a couple of hours drive from where I live here in Thailand. So that's why I made it. And it's one of the few dioramas that I've actually kept. I make so many that I don't have room to keep them all and have to get rid of them. But anyway, I kept my bridge over the River Kwai, and this is just half of it. It extended up quite a lot wider than this. So I'm going to utilise this, and it's now the bridge over the River Rhine. So I've adjusted it so that it's like that. So it's a bombed bridge on the River Rhine, and this is the remains of it. So next to it will be a pontoon bridge carrying 2 Sherman tanks. Okay, so the whole point then of the video is how I go about making the pontoon bridge. So I'm going to use styrofoam. I think that's the best material to use. And this is 3/4 or 18mm thick. Is it? Yes. 3/4 18mm. And I've made them 7 3/4 inches long, or 20 centimeters or thereabouts, and 4 inches wide, or 100 millimeters. So obviously if you're making them yourself, make them whatever size you like. I couldn't find any specific sizes for these things. There's every photograph you look at, they're a different design anyway. They tended to use dinghies, sort of 4-man dinghies, for the troops to walk across. But for tanks and other bigger vehicles, then these were made specifically for that purpose. Okay, so I put a radius on the end, as you can see, like that, and then I've just cut a chamfer all the way around very roughly with a knife, sharp knife on both sides. So we've got that kind of shape, and once you've got that shape, it's very easy with sandpaper to shape styrofoam to the necessary shape, which is something like that. So that's the basic shape of a pontoon. So there'll be 4 of those when these are finished. They'll go across like that, and then the tank's going across there like so. And then according to photographs that I've seen, there's some kind of planking on the top here, and these are slightly raised on either end like that. So I've got those to fix onto there, and then there's the ramps then for the tanks to ride along, going across that way like that. But in the meantime, I'll finish these 4 pontoons and put these bits on, then give it a coat of, as usual, watered down white wall filler, and then we'll see what sort of colour to paint them. So I'll go ahead and do all of that, and I'll be back in just a moment. So I've finished off all 4 pontoons, got the right shape, even with a smooth sandpaper. It's quite easy to get to sculpt styrofoam to get the right shape. The ends tend to go up a little bit, which is the actual shape of the pontoon, but that would be just a little bit too complicated to do. So I've just put these end pieces at a slight angle, and I can fill that in with wool filler a bit later. There are, it looks like, panels going down the length of the pontoon, and then some strengthening ribs. I've used cocktail sticks here and just thin strips of 2mm cardboard. Then there's like an H section going over the top of the whole lot, which will hold the road panels. So anyway, that's what I've done so far. Everything sticks very nicely with PVA glue. So we've reached that point. So now we need to start making the actual diorama, which is going to be a lot bigger than I normally make. So we'll have the bank, or the bank of one side, and the broken Rhine River Bridge over there. So once I've stuck all these pieces of polystyrene all around here, I can shape and sculpt them so that they're level then with the tops of the pontoon for the 2 tanks to go along, like so. Okay, so I'll paint up the pontoons and sculpt the bank on the left bank there, and then it'll be ready for putting a bit of water, which I shall only use wool filler, just neat out of the tub without watering it. So neat wool filler will give the ripple effect of water. Okay, so with all that said, I've got to go ahead and do all that, and I'll come back and we'll see what they look like then. So just a very quick update then. Finished the pontoons off, all 4 pontoons. So they will sit on there like this somehow, like that. And then I made these 2 ramps, again 2mm cardboard, and then some barbecue sticks on the sides there that will make up the ramp to take the tanks across. And those pieces of polystyrene on the side there, I made a bit of a rock face out of them, just gouged them out with a sharp stick, and then painted them with grey tile grout. So I've got my bridge all ready, and the tanks will sit on there like there. There's the other one. So that will be basically the idea then of the diorama. So I'll stick everything down and then put my water in between. I've given the polystyrene a coat of watered down wool filler, so I've got a base now to do whatever I like. And I'll try something a little bit different this time. I shall use grey grout, but with a lot of probably 50% PVA glue, and then it'll be quite a thick consistency. And then I'll try to make a river scene for in between the bridge parts there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish it off now, and I'll be back and we'll see what the end thing looks like. Okay, so finished the project off now. I'm not quite sure it worked out as well as I'd hoped with the tile grout for water. I think the wall filler is better. I'm just trying to save some money, that's all, because it would take a lot of wall filler to cover this whole area. But I think it's okay. It'll be fine for this purpose. Yeah, so the bridge I know is not the right scale, but you'll have to imagine that the bridge is like a long way in the distance. That's my excuse anyway. But it was just the making of the pontoons that was the whole point of the video. I didn't know whether to leave a gap. Most photographs I've seen is they're together. bunched up together. But if the track that the tanks roll on is fixed to the pontoon itself, then it wouldn't matter then if there was a gap between the two. And I've also tethered the pontoons together. What I did, some very thin gauge wire, and if you cut at a sharp wait a minute, if you cut at a sharp angle for a couple of inches, and a sharp angle that end as well, and then fold it not in the middle, over a barbecue stick to make like a staple, then that will push into polystyrene or styrofoam, and then you'll end up with the whatever that's called. I'm sure there is a name for it, that ropes that you tether vehicles to, whatever that is. I'm sure somebody out there knows, but anyway, that's what's holding these pontoons together. I think you're with me. Okay, so there we are. Another diorama complete. If you've watched this far, then well, thank you very much for watching the video. There will be others. Again, I will reiterate, they're just ideas. I'm not saying these are the finest dioramas you will find on YouTube. I'm not the kind of model maker that uses a pair of tweezers to put each blade of grass onto a diorama that takes like months to make. That's not what I do. It's just the ideas for you to do that. Whatever I've done, if it's given you an idea, and I hope it has, or this or any other video, for you to take the idea and improve on it, make it better. Okay, so having said that, please subscribe to the channel. That is the most important thing. It helps me. Yeah, it just helps me. So please subscribe, click the notification bell, click the like button. Again, if you see a button, then click it. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, as always, I wish you the very best of happy modelling.